was a matter of time before PC system integrators were gonna look at the Steam Machine and go, yeah, I could do that. And Meta PCs did just that, shipping over their Steamroller, a bigger, badder pre-built PC that's running SteamOS. The only question now is, well, it's obviously definitely gonna be bigger in a literal sense. Is it badder in a like, cooler, awesome, I'm bad and I know it kind of way? Or is it badder in a worse way? Right out of the gate, we've got a quick start guide that's basically take the packing material out of the PC before you turn it on and then turn it on. And also, do not throw away these boxes. If you throw them away or misplace them and for whatever reason you have to ship the system back to us, there will be a charge. Oh, I immediately failed to follow the instructions. Pretty good packing, actually. A lot of system integrators over the years have tried to get away with shipping their completed builds inside the box for the case. In this case, pun intended, we're talking about the A3 MATX WD from Western Digital. From Lee & Lee. But while the packaging material for a case is designed to cushion a case, what it isn't designed to cushion is all of the extra weight of the parts that will be installed in a completed system. So by including some extra packing material in a secondary box, Meta PCs will probably save themselves a lot of shipping damage. Woo! Haha, I like this. So, where's Windows? I guess I didn't really mention this yet, but what makes this a Steam Machine competitor is, as I alluded to already, clearly not the size of it, but rather the operating system that it runs on. It is preloaded with Valve's SteamOS, and I'm excited to see how seamless the out-of-the-box experience is. Meta PCs is quick to point out in their documentation that if you have any trouble, they do have human support, which is nice. I wish you could take that for granted these days, but you can't. And included in the box, we've got the manual for the case. If you ever wanted to, I don't know, say repair or upgrade anything in this, then you might need that, and that is something that you can do, unlike the Steam Machine, which can be repaired, other than RAM and the SSD slot, not really upgraded. We've got what appears to be a radiator mount. Not actually familiar with this case, so I'm just guessing. And then we've got our power cable, extra mounting screws, a couple of alternate power supply brackets, Wi-Fi antenna, case brackets, and what appears to be a 32 gig recovery media drive. So if we need to reinstall the operating system, we're gonna use this, and some SATA cables. Yeah. That's like, dude, that's like the sticker I would have put on my 5-star binder back in high school. Last size comparison, I promise. Now that it's actually out of the box, the little alfalfa antenna is really the icing on the cake on how much larger this is than the Steam Machine. Let's have a look at how the build quality is inside though. First up, you got decent front I/O, front USB-A, as well as USB-C and audio. That's definitely an advantage over the Steam Machine, which has no front USB-C and actually kind of crappy USB-C overall. No support for display output and no support for USB 4, so it won't work with like Thunderbolt docks, for instance. And then at the back, we've got lots more I/O, lots of USB-As, another USB-C, this time at 10 gig, a network port. This is a little uncool. Meta PCs just kind of vague posts the networking speeds because apparently your mileage may vary in terms of which motherboard they'll ship with it. I can see swapping out parts, like dual sourcing, but you gotta kind of commit to like a spec that I'm getting, guys. Your Meta PC was built with love by Tim. That's cute. I get a little picture of Tim on the back of my motherboard tray. That's who built my PC. Thanks, Tim. Now I'm gonna feel bad if I have to critique Tim's build. I've got a face and a name that I'm attacking now.
We're rooting for you, Tim.
Yeah, I'm sure Tim did a great job anyways. Come on! Way to pack it in there, Tim.
All PCs should come with a guy you can name.
I mean, all Apple ones do. Tim Apple.
That's true.
Also built by Tim. You know what, Tim? Not bad. Considering that you're working with a non-modular power supply, yeah, he bothered to kind of align these flat cables so that they're not all twisty. Nice management on the AIO. He went and tucked the cable under the retention bracket. That's something that does require some forethought. I do not love the way that this PCIe power cable is plugged into the GPU. It's probably fine, but you can see there's very little clearance between it and the GPU fan. I personally prefer to bring it up and over for that reason, but probably not gonna cause a problem. And even from the back, she looks nice. Look at that. Everything nicely managed in here and bundled up tidily with a zip tie.
Looks like you could jam 2 SATA SSDs in here. Although, did it give us the rubber feet for them in the package somewhere?
Rubber feet for a what now?
Like, usually they come with like little rubber feet that will go like doop, doop.
That's a little funky. I don't see the little silicone grommets that I might need to use if I wanted to mount a drive in here, nor do I see most of the other screws. I did get a couple little screws, but usually I expect to get more of the case screws included with my package. Also, oh, what? This isn't Tim's fault, but what is up with that single stick of memory? Come on, guys. I know it's DDR5 and it like has like virtual dual channel. No, that's not how it works. It makes more efficient use of the bandwidth that it has, but you still need 2 sticks if you want to run in dual channel and get the most performance out of it. With that said, Valve has been found to ship some Steam machines with a single stick of memory as well, which is going to have a similar impact on performance. And as for the rest of the specs of this machine, it's fairly well in line with the Steam machine. We're talking a Ryzen 9600X CPU, so that's 6 cores, Zen 5 actually running at higher clock speeds than the Steam machine. And then for our GPU, we've got a 7600 non-XT. At least it's the desktop version rather than the mobile version, so I would expect a little bit more performance there as well. For cooling, we've got a dual 120mm AIO, and our power supply is that's a 650 watt. Okay, it's decent, it's decent. And we get a terabyte of storage, 16 gigs of RAM. Let's plug it in.
Picture this, it's summer. You're on the beach, you have your playlist queued up, and you just realize you didn't download any of the songs. So do you hunt down Wi-Fi to download them? Do you take the heavy hit on your next phone bill? Or do you come prepared with a Saley eSIM? With Saley, just install the eSIM once and you're ready to have service in over 200 destinations at an affordable price. You can even bundle multiple locations if that playlist was meant for multiple beaches. No sketchy kiosks, no long lines, plus they offer 24/7 customer support. Get a 15% discount on Saley data plans. Use code ShortCircuit at checkout. Or you can download the Saley app, or you can go to saley.com/shortcircuit.
It occurs to me that when we did this with the Steam machine, I was able to put it here, hold my Steam controller, and kind of game like this in the B-cam. This would block the whole screen. Let's power it on. On the subject of the Steam controller, that's one thing that you will not be getting with your Steamroller. You've got to order these directly from Valve. And bad news. If you order one today, you can expect it sometime next year. Fortunately, we have one kicking around from our Steam machine. Okay, here we go. Immediately, it suggests either plugging in a keyboard and mouse or plugging in a controller. Here we go. I'll do just that. Because there's no built-in receiver for it, we'll have to use the receiver dongle from Valve. And another thing that the Steamroller will not have is support for CEC. So that is the ability to have our display automatically power up and shut off when we wake and sleep our Steamroller. That's weird. I keep plugging it in and it works for a second. There we go. Then it stops. I talked about this in a sort of longer video on the Steam machine where I daily drove it for 2 weeks and spoke about the experience, but that's the beauty of a device that has one company managing everything from the hardware to the software. So the experience tends to be really consistent. You don't run into like this kind of nonsense. Okay, does my mouse and keyboard work? Yes, it does, so I guess we'll do that. There's a ticking noise. Did that fan that I said was not contacting the cable end up touching it? It occurs to me, I never gave Tim a grade for his build. I got to dock a full letter grade for the missing screws and stuff, so it makes it a B at best. And if this fan's not spinning, that's, again, at best a B-. Oh! It's not actually sticking in the GPU fan, the one that I was concerned about. See, he's got a very narrow margin where this cable can sit and not interfere with either of these fans. Okay, I can rest it on the hub there. All right, they're working, but if this, slips one way or the other, it's gonna end up sticking in one of those fans. That's a rookie mistake, Tim. But hey, my SteamOS install is updating fine, just fine. Oh, why am I on Wi-Fi anyway? I should be plugged in. Okay, we're getting a Steam controller firmware update. Maybe that was an issue with the Steam controller. I guess we'll see. Hey, my controller's working. I think this is just Steam controller weirdness. It needs a firmware update for the puck now, so the pairing is not working, but hopefully it'll sort itself out pretty quick here. I want a game. Are you serious right now, bud? Only working wired. Fine, I guess we're running with a wire. Let's make sure we're running the latest SteamOS. One of the things that's really nice about the Steam machine is that it shuts down and boots up really quickly. And I'm kind of curious to see if that's because of the tight integration with the hardware, or if that's just an inherent characteristic of SteamOS. I notice as we're rebooting, this does get considerably louder, but once we're booted into the OS, it's actually reasonably quiet. Not super quiet. It's got a little bit of kind of annoying coil whine, but nothing too terrible. Probably most people wouldn't even notice it. I'm just a bit of a silence dork. I also noticed that aside from tuning it for quiet, Meta PCs turned off the lights in this PC. Like, it looks like there should be illumination behind that AIO, but instead they've gone for a completely stealthed out look. Well, I like it, feels appropriate. It's a little slower to boot up, but not bad at all. All right, let's find a couple of games to install here. There we go, now we're going. I just wanna see if it cracks gigabit. I guess I could also just check in the menu. Oh, it doesn't say? Okay, that's something SteamOS can do better. You know what, I could check in desktop mode though. Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but SteamOS is not just for gaming. You can also run it in a desktop mode that actually has shockingly good desktop functionality. I was blown away by my couple of weeks daily driving only the Steam machine. Not only didn't miss Windows, but straight up did not want to return to Windows. Feels like better Windows, basically. Why is it at 100 megabit? How dare you? Why is it letting me select anything I want? It's not a 100 gigabit connect. Okay, this could be better. Just tell me what it is. One of the things I really like about KDE is that it's really like Windows friendly. If you just type in Task Manager, it's like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. You want System Monitor. Brilliant. 2.5 gig networking. We finally know. Okay, so our games should download pretty fast. How much of this stuff does anything? Well, we can have our performance overlay. Obviously, unlike something like the Steam Deck, we're not able to make any customizations to the hardware itself. No power profiles or anything like that. What about games though? Right out of the gate, Expedition 33 is a pretty demanding game, and you're not gonna be able to max it out on, entry to mid-tier hardware. But this is definitely noticeably better than the Steam machine. Just having that extra power budget, never mind the fact that the hardware itself is more performant, gives you a fair bit more headroom to work with here. FSR quality, and it's set to kind of like medium high. Yeah, so you get better pop-in, you get better overall image quality, and it's running smoother. Of course, costs more. It doesn't have some of the nice-to-haves of the Steam machine, and it is quite a bit larger and noticeably louder. Not loud, though, either. Like, I got my mic right here. As soon as I'm a reasonable distance from it, and especially if I was using something like this in my living room, I wouldn't describe it as obnoxious or disruptive. It is so cool how seamlessly it just does stuff in the background. Like, I have no idea if Rain World is a native Linux game, and I don't have to care. SteamOS is marvelous.
Wait, you're able to use like the Xbox controller?
Big fan. Yep, you can use an Xbox controller with SteamOS.
I just used the keyboard.
Oh, you use the keyboard? Wait, no, you have a controller at your desk.
I used the keyboard.
How did you do a leap again? I forget.
Down and then charge up the move button.
Oh!
And you only leap in whichever direction you were already facing.
Right. In particular, I'm noticing that the noise floor for this system is quite a bit higher. Should we find a game you can also play?
You can play 2-player in Rain World, I think.
Yeah, but neither of us really knows how to play this game, so.
I do.
You do? How much have you played it?
Quite a bit. I've played a whole game time with it.
We trade game time for piano practice. Okay, settings, Bluetooth, Xbox wireless controller. Theoretically, SteamOS should just work flawlessly with it. There it is. All right.
Okay, see ya, cable.
Okay, so I'm about to get my butt kicked.
Okay, there's a little bit of delay on mine. Wait, which one am I?
It's randomly jumping?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm controlling both of them. Oh, look at this. Ah! No! I lost. Okay, let's see if we can fix the controls here. That's not something that I expected to happen. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna exit the game and then I'm gonna relaunch it with both controllers attached, and now it should be a little bit smarter.
Should I plug this in, just in case?
It should be fine.
Hey, cool, I can see my hands.
to my backpack over there. Thanks, darling.
Why is there a toothbrush in there?
To get gunk out of my braces, get used to it. You're gonna have to carry around a toothbrush when you get yours. It's clear that this is a perfectly reasonable gaming PC, actually. The pricing is pretty reasonable as well, all things considered, given the RAM-pocalypse and all of that. And a nice thing about it is that it's upgradable. They've got other configurations of this that are quite a bit more powerful. That's probably a SteamOS thing with this controller glitch that we're having. Okay, we'll play.
At this point, it's just gaming night.
Here, we'll just go to the farm.
The farm's the easiest.
Oh, you're not holding X. You gotta hold X so that you jump higher and farther and stuff.
I don't like holding X.
Well, if you want to get good, that's what you're going to have to do. And if you want it to power on and off with the rest of your system, you're going to have to get creative. That's where a solution like this comes in, because my old Logitech Harmony remote doesn't work, it doesn't happen automatically, and some TVs, for instance, some TVs do not have power on and power off commands. They only have power toggle, so they can end up out of sync, and I'm hoping this will be kind of the, the solution for me. I also want to try this CEC adapter, the Pulse 8, to see if I can get CEC commands injected into my PC at home, because I have exactly this problem that I'm trying to solve. If you want to see any more about these solutions, make sure you're subscribed to ShortCircuit and LTT. I'm not sure which channel they'll end up on just yet. But anyway, cool system. Definitely is kind of like a Steam machine, but not quite a Steam machine. It runs SteamOS. But don't forget that you can always install SteamOS on your own too. You don't have to buy a pre-built. It's available, you just download it from Valve. Seriously, you put a black hole there? What the Sam heck? What, you're winning? When did that happen?
Just now.
I'm gonna catch up.
Ha,
I got a
I'm
coin.
still winning, I'm still winning.
Barely. I'm coming back. What the?
Aw, dang it.
Got her.
I was winning originally.
GG.
Ha!
Oh, I'm not done yet. No. Oh, I'm dead.
I'm alive. Oh, and I got the coin too. I think I win. GG.
GG.